Hey everybody, this is Perch, and I'm with Joe. How are you, Joe?
It's been a week, but I'm all right, Perch. How are you?
Well, I'm anxious to make the week worse for you.
What comic books are you reading?
I mean, sorry. Technically, I think you got very excited. I'll blame you. You got very excited about reviewing this issue. Why?
Well, people talk about Alf number 48 strictly for the cover. You see it all the time. People make even like videos or something about this cover. This issue goes for too much money
Mm-hmm.
for what it is. If you look it up, I think it goes for more than any other Alf issue solely
Yes.
for the cover.
Yes, for sure.
You know? And it's between that and the whole discussion about how heroes don't eat pussy, and we all know that Alf eats pussy. So I thought this would be, hey, everything's coming to a head. It's time to talk about this one.
I'm with you, and this cover that you're probably seeing on your screen right now, basically, Alf's raping a seal.
Fancy.
Yes, there's no easy way to put this. It is a very exacerbated seal.
Yeah.
It's not having a good time. Alf is here's the distressing thing about this cover. Before we get into the meat of this. Anyway, the meat of it, yeah, is how Alf looks so unfazed to the deep distress of this seal.
Yeah.
Like, this seal is very upset, and Alf has just he looks sociopathic here. He looks completely unfazed by the deep discomfort of this seal.
Well, this is a strange cover. First of all, the writer and the artist clearly had to know what they were doing. And people have speculated, did they know what they were doing? But if you read some previous issues, and why would you? But if you did, they were making jokes about Robert Crumb. They were inserting. Alf at this point had slipped into more adult type comedy. It wasn't a kid's book anymore. It wasn't really a book for anyone, but definitely not for kids. And it's not like they were doing things. There was a lot of in jokes. There was a lot of stuff like that. And
yeah,
like you said, this cover is trying to pull off multiple strange jokes all at once. So that the title is All New 100% Fresh. That is a lie. Alf. And then the caution: do not buy if safety seal is missing. And so they wanted to do a pun on the safety seal. Not that comics have a seal. Like, there's a lot of strange things going on there. And then it's no animals were injured during the making of this cover. So the problem here is that Alf is the seal is flipping the fuck out.
Oh yeah.
It could have been just the seals looking sad, or the seals looking like you've seen the we'll kill this kitten if you don't buy this comic or this book, and the cat just looks sad. The seal could have looked sad, but here the seal is looking like absolutely bad things are occurring. And Alf, like you said, is drawn with kind of this sociopathic look on his face. He's also drawn with his fingers really digging into the seal's neck.
The neck and the side.
Yeah. And he's pinning that seal down and saying, so hurry up already, which doesn't really make sense for any of the other things. Like, don't buy if the safety seal is missing, and Alf saying, so hurry up already. Like, these things don't go together. It just basically Alf is raping the seal.
Where is cancel culture when you need it?
Yes, it's deeply disturbing.
Yeah.
But the toes really get you there too.
Yeah, that's true. There's some
toes really get you. But the wide open mouth, there's a lot going on here. And then, but if you open the actual issue, the first thing you get is, oddly enough, the best pun in the entire comic is the Streets of Rage ad of the choose from a smashing assortment of socks and belts.
Yes.
You get it? Because that's like punching people, but they're making it sound like it's clothing. And then all the puns that were commissioned for this actual book that weren't an ad are way further down than that pun. So this is the best interior page, I think, of the comic.
No, I agree. Absolutely, the best interior page is a ad for the Sega Genesis and Streets of Rage, and it's the funniest, best, and maybe best drawn as well, because you get some good action there in the little panels of fighting going on. So that is the highlight. The highlight is
this is the best interior art. It's crazy to have a comic hit those kind of highs before then, because right after that, you're like, oh, that's kind of fun. You get a Yoda soda pun, which I don't understand how that's a pun or why that makes sense.
Well, yeah, I mean, you get Yoda soda, you get Alf, who's having a dream, and he's having a dream about the ill-fated Disney movie Song of the South. They're making a reference to, please don't throw me in the Richard Pryor patch. So you're making a joke on the Briar Rabbit and Song of the South. And then maybe because they're concerned people aren't going to remember, Song of the South and maybe some of the racial overtones, they go ahead and, make it clear Richard Pryor is a black man. I mean, this line again is very, very odd. What's going on? Why they would do any of this?
Yeah, no, it's what do the kids say? Problematic.
It's problematic. It's confusing, if not problematic. It's confusing why they would do this.
Yeah, no, and why is Alf sleeping like that? That's a very odd position to be sleeping in. He's just he's kind of in a terrified fetal position, leaning on a ship or on his ship.
Weirdly, he looks like the seal he was raping on the cover.
It's very true.
Yeah. No, lots of strange things here. By the way, this issue was at this point they knew the series was coming to an end, which mercifully, the series had already been canceled at this point, but the comic was just continuing for reasons that are unknown. But this first story here is basically kind of the old dynamic of people are going to find out that Alf exists. So it's really a story designed to kind of protect that he exists.
Yeah.
But we get plenty of puns and plenty of kind of weird things. We get this strange, hopeful, you should buy the previous issue, which nobody is doing. And there's a lot of elements here. I don't remember in the show, but I mean, granted, I was not the closest Alf fan. The Rhonda, his girlfriend, was that a character in the show? Do you remember?
I don't remember. I watched this show as a kid, and the only thing I've gone back to is the awful made-for-TV movie since then, which we should do a video on that at some point. But
sure,
let's ruin Ryan's afternoon one day and make him watch that.
That is a perfect way to ruin Ryan's afternoon. Yes. Coming at you, Ryan. The story quickly gets into he's nervous, he's horny, and he basically, this comic introduces the concept of roofies.
Yeah, that's where this was going. It's so bad because it's not even just a one-off joke. This is the roofies in the beginning here are the Chekhov's gun of the story.
Yes. Yeah, this is a story weirdly constructed all around roofies, and so in many ways it was a trailblazer to Arrested Development. This is clearly where they got the Forget Me Now plot device.
Yeah, yeah. This is not to jump too far ahead, but what do they call it? A roofie circle or whatever it is. That's part of what they're doing here.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we learn that Alf is just kind of fucking around, and then there's this alien task force with this guy, Mr. Bittner, and he's been assigned to kind of try and provide proof that Elf exists. And after weeks or months or whatever, people have not believed him. He finally is just like looking out the window with binoculars, like good neighbors do, and he spots Elf. And we go very far into a backstory about this guy and how shitty his life has been because he hasn't been able to prove that Elf exists.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of backstory, and I guess there was this also refers to previous comics. They're wanting you to read a lot of previous comics that there's no way in hell anybody is going to do.
Yeah, because this is there's a whole election storyline from issue 27.
Yeah,
and that's what this is like referring to. So it's like, okay, longtime fans of the Alf comic who've stuck around for almost 2 years since then are finally getting a payoff.
Yeah, it's some Chris Claremont level writing here.
Oh yeah.
Well, meanwhile, back in Alf's house, Alf has discovered bugs, and it provides us with some more puns. But basically, we discover that the entire house has been bugged by this alien task force who have been listening to, presumably everything that all of this terrible comic for years.
Yeah.
I like how we get another ad for the Game Genie, by the way. That's nice.
It's nice to get some of that. You got a Ninja Turtles Game Boy ad. There's some good stuff in here. And then oh my God, we're still on exposition about this guy's problem with Elf.
Yeah, it goes on and on and on as they kind of clear out the bugs and everything else. What's confusing here is that he knows that Alf is in the house. He goes and they talk, and then we get a little bit lesson about the U.S. Constitution and just a very, very weird back and forth. And he's going to come back with a court order, I guess. And so the only solution here is to get Alf out of the house, which. Sure.
Yeah, it's kids love spoiled elections and court orders in their Elf comics.
Yeah. Well, and other jokes like Safe and Secure, the Ellen Barkin breaks on.
Yeah, there's a lot of jokes in here I don't know if kids would even get. Even then, it's like these are not even topical for the time.
I don't know if the adults would get it either.
Yeah. It's a lot of like puns that like make no sense. Like they don't fit into what's being discussed.
I mean, Alf says, "Are you sure my spider sense isn't tingling?" And sense is spelled CENTS. That's the joke. Yeah, it's all terrible. So anyway, they get Elf. Basically, they trick him into getting into a truck to go visit the mom's house, and I guess they make jokes about how her mom bit the dad. What the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, I don't know why he has to stay there. God, trucks are us. And now we're referencing issue 13 of Alf.
Yeah. This comic really goes back and wants you to read the past comics again for no apparent reason. But they get Alf away. Bittner comes over with his court order. He searches the entire house, and there's like again weird bubbles. Like who did all these anatomical drawings of cats?
Yes.
Yes, who is doing that? And there's what's in the closet? Ooh, sexy nightgowns. Like again,
that was so deeply uncomfortable. They at least have, very similar actually to X Factor number 10. It's off panel.
That's true.
We don't actually see that. This happens. You see an image of the house, and then he is presumably the one who's being slapped by the wife here for touching her sexy nightgowns.
Yes. I mean, the way it's drawn all within the same word bubble, he could have slapped the wife.
It's very possible.
I mean, you can't put it past anyway. So as he searches the house, finds nothing. The mom shows back up, apparently with Alf, and oh no, Alf's escaped somehow. He's eaten through the car, and basically, Alf. Bittner finds what he wants. He finds Alf, and they have a little tussle here. And Bittner is very happy. He's got the proof. They're traitors. Everything has gone to shit. Alf screams a full Nelsonella, which is another pun. And the mom gets the idea here. Mrs. Tanner gets the idea of shoving some of the forget-me-nows into Bittner to get him to forget everything that has happened, which she does. And Alf compliments her by saying, "Nice shot, Katie Oakley," which is a reference I admit I don't even get.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that reference off the top of my head. I'm sure we'll have 4 or 5 people in the comments telling us how stupid we are.
Yes.
And that's fine. But yeah, you're just like, I don't know, maybe I'm naive, perhaps innocent to an extent, that I did not think, as I was reading this, that the roofie bit in the beginning was going to be the Chekhov's gun of this thing. And I was horrified to find out that the way they handled this was to drug Mr. Bittner so he'd forget the day.
Yes.
That was truly disturbing.
Time capsules for temporary amnesia from whatever's uppermost in your mind. So, all right, cool. Maybe the seal cover makes sense after all. Anyway,
it's oddly fitting.
Yeah, so they kind of go back and forth of this will be fine, but maybe there will be a problem later. And then Alf does a long and big monologue it feels like they're kind of just trying to wrap up the comic. And Alf goes from how am I putting these people in jeopardy and danger? I can't risk their safety with my comfortable lifestyle. And he basically decides to call Rhonda. And we get another Ronnie baby. This is Gordon. I'm no Lightfoot Shumway. A Gordon Lightfoot reference is always welcome. And he's about to leave an like a marriage proposal on his answering machine. So I guess this entire story was really leading us to Alf is going to maybe get engaged.
Yeah, which I know that's what all the kids who love Alf were like, when is Alf finally going to get married?
Yeah, that's right.
I know that's when I was a kid, that's what I wanted. I'm like, when is Alf just going to settle down?
I before we get to the second story, they put the letters page in the middle of this.
They sure did.
And it is a lot of people claiming that they are really disappointed that the TV show was canceled. And I like this. Even though it's awful that the TV show is canceled, at least we've still got the comic book, which is kind of funny considering the comic book gets canceled 2 issues later. But
yeah, it is funny. They also got a letter from the Riddler from Gotham City.
Yes, they did. That's right.
I think it's pretty bold to assume that the Riddler lives within Gotham City and doesn't commute to commit crimes.
Yeah, and the Riddler tells some terrible jokes here.
And not just here, folks. Check out back issues of Batman.
It is a lot of praise. This one is maybe scarier. We printed some letters before from people from Ontario, and you really start to wonder, the Alf, I really like you, and I have over 150 things of you, which is kind of a weird way to say that, but
very weird.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. And then people offering, like, come to my house and you can eat my sister's cat. Sure. But this comic does not give you just one story. It gives you 2. And the second one, again, is a real kid-friendly story of a recreation of Casablanca.
Yes, every kid's favorite Humphrey Bogart film.
Yeah.
Because they, I guess, haven't seen The Maltese Falcon. But that's fine. But,
Sure.
but yeah, you're going through this. And you're just like, this is where this is going. A pecan Danish ring that's as big as their heads. What the? And then all the wonderful names like Uncle Shumpry Melmac. Oh, God, this sucks.
Yeah, it is.
Shumpry, yeah.
This is a story of Melmac, his home planet, and a lot of puns and hilarious references to Casablanca and other things going on at the time. Again, it's not really readable, would be my review.
Yeah.
I had a very difficult time reading this because it was so shitty.
This was somehow tougher, and then I also love that there's despite being a shorter story, but there's also the note here. This final Melmac flashback takes place prior to this issue's lead story. Who cares? Like, is this really, like, having read this, I'm like, does this in any way feel like anyone would be concerned about where this falls within the ongoing story?
Yeah, that is. It says it's the continuity conscious editor, but why? Why? But like you said, who cares? Now I have to go look up the editor. Oh, this is Fabian. God damn it.
Well, there goes our Fabian interview, I guess. Oh well,
Fabian, damn it.
We were so close. Damn it. All right.
Tom DeFalco put his name on this as well.
I think he had to.
That's fair. This story, I mean, what can you say about it? I mean, they go through a lot of just silly puns, and I mean, it's just awful. There's nothing really to pull out here other than it's terrible.
Yeah, I mean, the big things here is they're all, for no reason, fish-related puns, because they're in Basablanca.
Right.
And then instead of calling the bad guys here Nazis like they were in, Casablanca, they're called notsea-foods.
Yes, notsea-foods.
And I cannot begin to express how upsetting that was to read.
It's the Not-Seafood Party whose symbol, their swastika, is basically a no, a red no on a black flag.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the Not-Seafood Party, they still have the same costumes, same salutes. They talk like Germans for some reason. And they're basically trying to get rid of, they're trying to ethnically cleanse seafood restaurants.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great. And Alf doesn't like this because he's addicted to cod liver oil.
Well, who's tried cod liver oil that wasn't addicted to it? Find me that person. But
I mean, they go. I mean, they foil the Not-Seafood guy by him falling in a hole.
Yeah, and the guy playing the piano, instead of being Sam, is Spam.
Yeah,
you get it, because that's not the name of the guy, but it's a food pun.
I don't know. There's also a lot of baseball in here for strange reasons.
Sure.
I mean,
yeah, there's an odd amount of baseball. What was it? Jeez, you just. How does this even happen?
Yeah, you do hate yourself reading it. The story ends with Alf's story coming to an end, and she says, he says, we'll always have Maris.
Yeah.
Sure. But then we get a couple panels with Mr. Tanner talking about how, we usually tag your flashbacks with some sort of sarcastic comment. Well, not this time. I really enjoyed it. And they leave happy, unlike the reader.
Yeah, no. And just the end is written on the hat there for no reason. I guess. Does that mean why the fuck's the hat there?
I don't know.
You care enough about the continuity to make it a point to say that the story takes place before the story that's the lead story, but you throw the hat in all willy-nilly at the end, which is nonsensical and makes no sense.
The comic gets canceled 2 issues later, and it comes to a merciful end. But not before he introduced like an elf dog, and the guy who was roofied goes to jail, and they kind of make a joke about him getting raped there. Like this series continues on form until it finally comes to an end. But I mean, I'd say thank you for a trip down memory lane, but that is really awful.
Yeah, but fear not, because coming this Christmas, Hook.
It's a comic that the ads are dramatically more entertaining and better for you than the comic. So
it really is, and it's nice to see that the seal cover, where the seal is clearly being sexually assaulted, that no seals are sexually assaulted, only men.
Yes, only men.
So I hope all you animal rights activists are happy that no seals were harmed in the drawing of this comic.
Well, and I hope that people who have this issue slabbed and in good condition, because it's a collector's item and that you've never actually cracked it open to read it. Now you know what was in that comic. Absolutely fucking nothing.
Yes, this is truly terrible. Anyone who is dissatisfied with some of the comics coming out today would do themselves some good to go back to some of this stuff and realize it's always been bad comics about food and people eating.
That is true. Yes, I think food and eating is a disaster. We should have known that back in the 80s. We were warned.
Yeah.
But Joe, thank you very much, sorta, for this, and we will do better comics in the future.
Which is, by the way, like such a myth.
Well, we're going to try better next time. Don't worry.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Talk to everybody later.